Steven Spielberg's Munich isn't really about the 1972 abduction and murder of 11 Israeli athletes at the Munich, Germany, Olympic Games. That sobering historical valley, brought about by the Black September faction of the Palestine Liberation Organization, serves only as the starting point for a story about political retaliation and personal retribution. Avner is an intelligence officer in the Israeli Defense Forces. His wife is pregnant, and he's seemingly never had much of a taste for violence. But none of that stops the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence service, from selecting him to lead a small team of men dedicated to finding and eliminating Black September operatives. One, by gunfire or by bomb, by hook or by crook, Avner chips away at his top-secret objective. And we can only watch helplessly as his soul erodes and his emotions crumble with each drop of blood that is shed. Inman, a Civil War Confederate soldier, is seriously wounded in battle before heading home to North Carolina to his pre-war beloved, Ada. In his absence, Ada, with the help of a young drifter named Ruby, is desperately trying to hold onto the farm of her deceased missionary father. Inman's long journey home takes him through the crumbling Confederacy, as he meets people of all walks of life who want to both aid and hinder his mission. From July 1913 to the outbreak of World War I, a series of incidents take place in a German village. A horse trips on a wire and throws the rider, a woman falls to her death through rotted planks, the local baron's son is hung upside down in a mill, parents slap and bully their children, a man is cruel to his long-suffering lover, another sexually abuses his daughter. People disappear. A callow teacher, who courts a nanny in the baron's household, narrates the story and tries to investigate the connections among these accidents and crimes. What is foreshadowed? Are the children wholly innocents? God may be in his heaven, but all is not right with the world, the center cannot hold. ASED on an incredible true story of one man's fight for survival and freedom. In the pre-Civil War United States, Solomon Northup, a free black man from upstate New York, is abducted and sold into slavery. Facing cruelty personified by a malevolent slave owner, as well as unexpected kindnesses, Solomon struggles not only to stay alive but to retain his dignity. In the 12th year of his unforgettable odyssey, Solomon's chance meeting with a Canadian abolitionist will forever alter his life. The island of Iwo Jima stands between the American military force and the home islands of Japan. Therefore, the Imperial Japanese Army is desperate to prevent it from falling into American hands and providing a launching point for an invasion of Japan. General Tadamichi Kuribayashi Ken Watanabe is given command of the forces on the island and sets out to prepare for the imminent attack. General Kuribayashi, however, does not favor the rigid traditional approach recommended by his subordinates, and resentment and resistance fester amongst his staff. In the lower echelons, a young soldier, Saigo Kazunari Ninomiya, a poor baker in civilian life, strives with his friends to survive the harsh regime of the Japanese army itself, all the while knowing that a fierce battle looms. When the American invasion begins, Kuribayashi and Saigo find strength, honor, courage, and horrors beyond imagination. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy is assassinated in Dallas. Lee Harvey Oswald is arrested for the crime and subsequently shot by Jack Ruby, supposedly avenging the president's death. An investigation concludes that Lee Harvey Oswald and Jack Ruby acted alone in their respective crimes, but Louisiana District Attorney Jim Garrison is skeptical. Assembling a trusted group of people, Garrison conducts his own investigation, bringing about backlash from powerful government and political figures. Biographical epic of Malcolm X, the legendary African-American leader. Born Malcolm Little, his father, a Garveyite Baptist minister, was killed by the Ku Klux Klan. Malcolm became a gangster, and while in jail discovered the Nation of Islam writings of Elijah Muhammad. He preaches the teachings when let out of jail, but later on goes on a pilgrimage to the city of Mecca. There he converts to the original Islamic religion and becomes a Sunni Muslim and changes his name to El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. He is assassinated on February 21, 1965 and dies a Muslim martyr. William Wallace is a Scottish rebel who leads an uprising against the cruel English ruler Edward the Longshanks, who wishes to inherit the crown of Scotland for himself. When he was a young boy, William Wallace's father and brother, along with many others, lost their lives trying to free Scotland. Once he loses another of his loved ones, William Wallace begins his long quest to make Scotland free once and for all, along with the assistance of Robert the Bruce. In April of 1945, Germany stands at the brink of defeat with the Soviet armies closing in from the west and south. In Berlin, capital of the Third Reich, Adolf Hitler proclaims that Germany will still achieve victory and orders his generals and advisors to fight to the last man. Downfall explores these final days of the Reich, where senior German leaders such as Himmler and Göring began defecting from their beloved Führer in an effort to save their own lives, while still others, Joseph Goebbels, pledged to die with Hitler. Hitler, himself, degenerates into a paranoid shell of a man, full of optimism one moment and suicidal depression the next. When the end finally does comes, and Hitler lies dead by his own hand, what is left of his military must find a way to end the killing that is the Battle of Berlin, and lay down their arms in surrender. Based on a true story, Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List stars Liam Neeson as Oskar Schindler, a German businessman in Poland who sees an opportunity to make money from the Nazis' rise to power. He starts a company to make cookware and utensils, using flattery and bribes to win military contracts, and brings in accountant and financier Itzhak Stern, Ben Kingsley, to help run the factory. By staffing his plant with Jews who've been herded into Krakow's ghetto by Nazi troops, Schindler has a dependable unpaid labor force. For Stern, a job in a war-related plant could mean survival for himself and the other Jews working for Schindler. However, in 1942, all of Krakow's Jews are assigned to the Plaszow forced labor camp, overseen by Commandant Eamon Goeth, Rafe Fiennes, an embittered alcoholic who occasionally shoots prisoners from his balcony. Schindler arranges to continue using Polish Jews in his plant, but, as he sees what is happening to his employees, he begins to develop a conscience. He realizes that his factory, now refitted to manufacture ammunition, is the only thing preventing his staff from being shipped to the death camps. Soon Schindler demands more workers and starts bribing Nazi leaders to keep Jews on his employee lists and out of the camps. By the time Germany falls to the Allies, Schindler has lost his entire fortune, and saved 1,100 people from likely death.